And ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, please. We will get things underway very soon. So if you want to refresh your drinks and get seated, it's approximately 3 minutes to post time. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kirt Contois, and I am the track announcer and on-air handicapper for the Assiniboia Downs broadcast. On behalf of Chief Executive Officer Darren Dunn, Senior Executive Sharon Gullius, our management team, and our board of directors, we are very pleased that you can join us for the tradition of the official draw for post positions of the historic 75th running of the Manitoba Derby presented by Manitoba Liquor Lotteries. We will quickly advise that Darren Dunn is unable to join us today as he is out of the province dealing with a health issue that he does indicate carries great optimism and a positive outcome, and he looks forward to returning to Assiniboia Downs at his earliest opportunity. That is very great news. And now, before we officially get underway, we do want to respectfully acknowledge that we are on Treaty 1 territory, and the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, the heartland of the Métis Nation, and home to many Inuit. We also gratefully acknowledge that the Winnipeg's water is sourced from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation. We acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past and dedicate ourselves to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in the spirit of truth, reconciliation, and collaboration. I hope you took a moment or will take a moment and have a look at the memorabilia connected to the Manitoba Derby in our Racing Through Time history collection at the back of the room that Assiniboia Downs historian Bob Gates has so thoughtfully and carefully put together. To begin today, on behalf of the province of Manitoba, I would like to call the Minister of Seniors and Long-Term Care, the Honorable Scott Johnson, up to the stand.
Thank you. Well, first and foremost, it's a pleasure to be here today on behalf of Premier Stephenson and our government. It truly is a foundation of Manitoba when Assiniboia Downs has its Derby. I would like to recognize one of my colleagues who joins me here today, the MLA from Lakeside, Ralph Eichler. Ralph? You know, when I first joined our government in 2016, I was an MLA and I was learning a great deal. And Ralph Eichler was one of the ministers who taught us young MLAs the ropes. And I can tell you, there's no better friend to Assiniboia Downs than Ralph Eichler. I would recognize the Jockey Club Board of Directors. Jeff Goy and his team are always here, and they step up to the plate and ensure that Assiniboia Downs is the place that Manitobans have all grown to love. There have been challenges over the years, but the Board of Directors have always stepped up to the plate and done their job and continue to make Assiniboia Downs the great place in Manitoba that it is. Excuse me, I'd also like to recognize the executive of Assiniboia Downs, Darren Dunn. The guy's fantastic. He is always working his hardest to ensure that this place is fulfilling the needs of Manitoba, not only from the sports perspective, but also too from the community perspective. So I recognize him, and also too his assistant Sharon, who is here, who is also too contributing all the time to the success of Assiniboia Downs. I was very proud for me to be here because I represent the area of Assiniboia. And I always have bragging rights whenever I'm in a position to be able to indicate the merits of my constituency versus other constituencies. I'm always able to say, well, I've got Assiniboia Downs. And everyone recognizes that. So it's certainly not only a foundation to my community, but it's a foundation to the province of Manitoba. And a great contributor. You can't ignore, and you have to appreciate the amount of revenue that Assiniboia Downs generates for the government of Manitoba, which ultimately is for the people of Manitoba. And so not only is this a community foundation, but it's also a very significant contributor to the life of the people of Manitoba, and certainly we always appreciate that. So I would also recognize, as indicated, the support of our Indigenous community to the success of Assiniboia Downs. That goes without saying, and that certainly is well recognized by our government. We have many sponsors that contribute to the success of the events that are put on by this government, and in particular, I would, by this entity, Assiniboia Downs, and I would recognize in particular Manitoba Liquor Lotteries, who have always stepped up to the plate in support of Assiniboia Downs, in particular the Manitoba Derby. So I would ask for you to put your hands together and applaud them. So just before I sit down and we'll enjoy how we proceed through the Derby as well as a nice lunch, I did want to recognize one fellow who's not here with us today, and that's Harvey Warner. Harvey was someone who was a guiding light to the Jockey Club as well as previous Assiniboia Downs operations. And he passed away, but we should always remember his contribution to this great entity. So I thank you very much on behalf of Premier Stevenson and the Government of Manitoba. Please enjoy your afternoon, and hopefully you pick the right horse in the Derby.
Thank you very much, Mr. Johnson, for the kind words on behalf of the province of Manitoba. Ladies and gentlemen, now turning to your press kit. On the cover, we are pleased to recognize the winner from last year's Manitoba Derby, that being Red Knobs. For local owners, Bob and son Robert Noakes, and trained by Robertino Diodoro, jockey Jorge Carreño was successfully in the saddle. We then draw your attention to the inside cover for a historical look back, and we find the winner of the first ever Manitoba Derby, that being Jack Whittier, followed on the top right by the winner of the 25th Manitoba Derby, Zaka Spirit, and then below is the winner of the 50th Manitoba Derby, a Fleet's Dancer. We thought a pictorial look back at Derby 1, 25, and 50 was a fitting prelude to Derby number 75. A special thanks again to our historian, Mr. Bob Gates, for assembling those historical photos. And just a reminder about the trophy on the table here today, our version of the Stanley Cup presented to the champion horse of the Manitoba Derby. A trophy that was presented in 1970 by none other than the Queen of England herself, Elizabeth, to the winner of the Manitoba Derby, and very importantly, was donated by the Queen to stay in Manitoba for annual competition in the Derby, and hence the name it received, the Queen's Cup. So an enormous amount of history does revolve around this trophy, and fittingly, it is presented to the winner of the biggest race of the season here on Monday night. Another historic announcement we are so pleased to make today is representative of a year of work in the making. Through the coordination of Manitoba and the provinces of Alberta and British Columbia, we are pleased to indicate that in 2023, there will be a Western Canadian Triple Crown. This series that will combine the Manitoba Derby, which is the first leg, followed 3 weeks later by the Canadian Derby, which will be at Century Mile Racetrack in Edmonton, and followed off in British Columbia for the BC Derby at Hastings Racecourse. Wow, what an accomplishment. Win all 3 races with the same horse, and you will win a sweet bonus of $100,000 when combined with the purses or prize money of all the Derby races. The Western Canadian Triple Crown Series provides an opportunity to share in over $550,000 worth of money. Absolutely incredible, and something to be proud of for the Western Canadian horse racing. Yeah, that is an incredible feat, ladies and gentlemen. Great job by our board of directors and all the directors across Western Canada. I will now direct your attention to the television monitors for a brief look at our promo piece for this series. And they're off in the Manitoba Derby.
Field of Nine set underway in the CC Derby.
And they're off in the Canadian Derby.
Red Knobs will take the Manitoba Derby.
And Walcott takes the lead with great escape.
Regal Bryant, roller coaster ride. Regal Bryant will win the Derby.
And great escape winning the Canadian Derby.
Wow. And ladies and gentlemen, though we are here to talk about the Manitoba Derby on Monday, but as many of you know, we also have 2 very special stakes races on Monday night, one of which is the $50,000 escape clause, named after the most successful and iconic racehorse of all time here in Manitoba. Also, we are featuring the Harvey Warner Memorial Stakes to recognize the multi-decade contributions of our previous board chair, who left us unexpectedly in early March of 2022, and we will certainly never forget him. Before we move forward with a look at the contenders for Monday night's main event, I want to proudly take a brief moment to reflect on the race from last year, to recognize and remind you of the horse who came out on top in this challenging race in 2022. And with that, directing your attention to the television monitors, here are the final moments of that race and the winner, named Red Knobs. Is ready to pull the trigger at any point. Pray for Peace back to third. Clancy's Pistol is starting to rally. They're coming to the head of the lane, and they're both in an all-out drive. Pray for Peace on the inside. Red Knobs not giving up. These 2 nose and nose, rallying back from third. Pray for Peace. Red Knobs now goes in front. Pray for Peace not giving up. But Red Knobs will take the 74th running of the Manitoba Derby. Great Escape in second, Clancy's pistol in. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a great race. It was not Pray for Peace. It was Great Escape in second, but unfortunately, in my job, all my mistakes are on YouTube. Isn't that a great thing? Now to the horses for our premier event of the racing season. First off, I would like to recognize our special guests involved with them, the trainers and their staff, the grooms, the exercise riders who have worked so hard to reach this pinnacle opportunity, the jockeys who are included in this elite group and carry all the pressures on their shoulders live while we watch, and very importantly, the owners of the horses who have stepped up with their best efforts and the money and have created this opportunity for themselves. Congratulations in advance to all, and we do look forward to a safe and exciting race. And now it's time to recognize the tradition that is the Manitoba Derby for the incredible 75th time. Back to the first running as listed in your programs in 1930, as that tradition continues on Monday night. First kicked off Monday evening with the singing of the national anthems of Canada and the United States by Winnipeg's own Stacy Nattrass. Great to have her aboard. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to introduce you to the field of horses for Monday's Manitoba Derby, brought to you by Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries. We are also pleased that we have been able to assemble such a quality field of horses to go to post. This is never a guarantee as to how many you will get to enter the race. So to go to post with a large field, which is a field of 10 today, is a very satisfying situation for us here in Manitoba. Please now feel free to follow along in your press kits and on the television monitors. Ladies and gentlemen, we have assembled a very wide open and talent-laden field from home and afar, and a wide showcase to show their skills on Monday evening. And here we go. We are going to begin in alphabetical order with B minor. B minor, the first of two from the powerful barn of trainer Robertino Diodoro, a four-time winner of the Manitoba Derby, purchased recently out of the tough racing circuit of Churchill Downs in Kentucky. B minor has tested very tough competition in Kentucky and Arkansas, including the recent Saratoga Stakes winner, Scotland. B minor is exceptionally well bred for a distance of ground and should enjoy the mile and an eighth distance over Monday night's Derby. Also has two works over the racetrack, which is a definite advantage, adds blinkers on, and has last year's leading jockey, Jorge Carreño. He'll be in the saddle. Here is B minor.
Wadsworth in behind fourth, has to pick it up from there. B minor emerging from the pack fifth and moving up on the outside. Record Point gives way with face value. Quarter pole now. Presider on the far outside. Cyclone Mischief at the rails, game and determined, and is holding on to the lead. Cyclone Mischief spurts away once again. Presider to take another crack at that one, furlong to go. B minor's now third. Record Point in fourth. Final 16th. Cyclone Mischief still in front. Presider keeps fighting. B minor surging late. Maybe got there. B minor looked adamant at the final 16th and got up.
Wow, those close finishes make me love horse racing. Next up, Chicago's Gray, sent out by multiple stakes winning trainer Murray Duncan, who did win the Derby in 2017 with Plentiful, a very astute claim out of a very tough Arkansas race circuit. He immediately made an impression by destroying a maiden allowance field and going on to win the Primetime TV Overnight Stake and the Golden Boy Stakes here at ASD. A prime speed threat in the Derby is set to atone for his fourth place finish in the Derby trial. Stanley Cheedy Jr. is set to ride. Here is Chicago's Gray. Saxon Saga and Cuban Cobra. Those two battling it out, trying to gain ground through a quick half in 45-2. They hit the head of the lane, and Chicago's Gray now opens up on the field and is cruising up by 4 with a 16th of a mile to go. This is all Chicago Gray. Gonna win the Golden Boy. Saxon Saga in second. Cuban Cobra. Next up, Discovery Peak, the first of two horses sent out by Assiniboia Downs leading trainer Jerry Gorno and leading multiple money-earning owner Henry Witt Jr. Claimed out of Lone Star Park in Texas, this Kentucky bred has competed in the non-2-life allowances, in which he has yet to miss the board in 3 starts, with his best finish a second going the 1 mile distance. The Derby's 1 1/8 mile distance should be right up his alley. This will definitely be a long shot, but has a chance as a late closer. Jockey Neville Stevenson will be in the irons. Here is Discovery Peak.
Come to the upper stretch, followed by Baja Boogie and Dixie Moonshine, and Perfect Tom has been getting an excellent trip. He is up outside of a whipping and driving Seeking Chrome, who's dropping back. And then comes Man in the Middle, looming up on the outside. Discovery Peak is staying inside for the time being. And fourth, Perfect Tom, hanging on his inside lead, maintains the lead. Discovery Peak is starting to gain momentum. Seeking Chrome inside of him. Here comes Discovery Peak inside of Perfect Tom. Perfect Tom not home safely yet. Discovery Peak coming on. And he just gets there in the shadow of the wire, does Discovery Peak. Over.
Next up, Green Amazon. Started off his racing career at the tough Eastern Canadian racetrack Woodbine in Ontario. Purchased by Local Connections Hardball Stable with Stephen Gaskin, a multiple stakes winning trainer who's looking for his first Derby win. This Ontario bred ran several distance races as a 2-year-old and is just starting to round into form. After breaking his maiden win late June, he stepped up his game in his latest start in the Derby trial, in which he finished a hard-fought second. Jockey Sven Balrup will ride. Here is Green Amazon. Engaged on the inside by Green Amazon, and no, I won't back down, making a big 4-wide move. That's finalized, and back to Indio Time and Canadian Authority making up some ground. They hit the head of the lane. Green Amazon with the lead by a length and a quarter, finalized. A big danger on the outside. Ron still with some run on the rail. Green Amazon is digging in at the 16th pole and is going on to victory. Is going to win by 2. Second best is Ron. Heroic Move. This is the second horse for trainer Robertino Diodoro and is dubbed the horse to beat in this year's 75th running of the Manitoba Derby. Was a recent purchase by the ownership group after a third-place finish in a very tough allowance race at Churchill Downs in Kentucky. All 5 of his races have been at a distance of a mile or more, and most recently raced in the $250,000 Iowa Derby. He stalked the leaders and closed with a flurry to finish third, beaten only just by a half a length at the 1.16 mile distance. Former leading Alberta jockey and current Woodbine jockey Rico Walcott will take the reins. Here is Heroic Move.
And unwinding now, Interlock Empire. Here's the great Interlock Empire with forward momentum. Could be heard from on the money. New leader, top of the stretch, JJ's Joker. JJ's Joker is a half length in front of Juilliard. Heroic Move is in the center of the racetrack as Interlock Empire continues to come up the rail. Here's Heroic Move outside of JJ's Joker. JJ's Joker, first-time starter, Heroic Move. These two sprint away, Heroic Move and JJ's Joker, and they're bouncing off each other. Heroic Move in front. Heroic Move beat JJ's Joker. Interlock Empire was third. Major Blue.
Manodura, this is a second of two horses sent out by trainer Jerry Gorno and owner Henry Witt Jr. This is a horse that has improved greatly in his 3-year-old campaign with a record of 9 starts, 3 wins, 4 seconds, and 1/3, only missing the top 3 once. A very versatile running style. He can sit back or close or sit right behind the leaders. A sharp claim 2 starts ago by owner Henry Witt Jr. He made his lone local start against older horses and made the most of it by winning by a half a length. He should move ahead after that first start and is definitely a contender. Assiniboia Downs leading jockey Antonio Whitehall will be in the saddle. This is Manodura. A half 47-4. Gallon Oak with the lead. The favorite Manodura on the outside, starting to look him in the eye as they hit the head of the lane. It's Gallon Oak with the short lead. Manodura trying to dig into it. They're running out of ground. A 16th of a mile to go. Manodura, Gallon Oak, Manodura is going to take it. Gallon Oak second best. Next up is Neighbor. This 3-year-old gray Aron gelding is a recent addition to the Robert Kingston barn, claimed in late May at Churchill Downs for $50,000 off a gutsy maiden win in his previous start at Churchill. His running style suggests he will not be far off the early pace. His races have all been at 1 mile to 1 mile and a 16th, so the 1 mile and an 1/8 definitely won't be a problem. Add in that he has been absolutely tearing up the racetrack in the mornings with 3 fast workouts coming into the race. Jockey Dane Nelson from Alberta and was here at Assiniboia Downs will be in the irons. Here is Neighbor.
Neighbor is just waiting for racing room. Down inside third, needs to find a way through toward the rail. Big opening. Neighbor cuts the corner off the turn. Top of the stretch, Kansas Comet still the one to catch. Neighbor with clear sailing up the rail. Down the center, plenty of time. Continues to fight on. 1 furlong to go. Here's Neighbor. Neighbor comes on through, grabs the lead right outside the 16th. Kansas Comet gives way. Plenty of time, fights on. It's Neighbor in front, and Neighbor will do it. Ryan Hernandez rode that rail to victory. Plenty of time was second. Kansas Comet was third.
Next up, Rough Customer. This is the only maiden in the field. Maiden means has yet to win a race. Well, can a maiden beat the winners in a stakes race? Yes, they can. You just have to look at the Queen's Plate, Canada's most prestigious race that has been won multiple times by maidens. There is no doubt that he will be one of the longest shots on the board, but has yet to finish worse than 4th in 5 career starts. He lost a heartbreaking photo for second in the Derby trial. This Alberta bred will try and make his home province very proud. Alberta jockey Andre Martin will be in for the ride. Here is Rough Customer.
Third now plays back to 6th. In between 5th is HK Rapper. 22-1 for the opening quarter. Our Sunshine 7th. Mama's Proud Joke and Rough Customer. It's Kiss Me Hello under the whip now. Top of the lane down the stretch. Kiss Me Hello has a lead by 2 lengths over Buster Brady. Big Bad Intaglio is looking for his best foot on the outside. Fantastic Canaveral. Coming back on is Pacheco under an 1/8 of a mile from home. Kiss Me Hello puts up a half in 46 seconds, but is getting leg weary. Here comes Big Bad Intaglio. Pacheco from in between, coming down to the wire. Look to me, Big Bad Intaglio. Rough Customer came up the inside.
Another great finish. Unfortunately, I did bet that 3 horse that had the lead. Looked like he was going to win, but yeah, not there. Next up, Saxon Saga, a 3-year-old sent postward by Wendy Anderson, a top trainer here at Assiniboia Downs on her regular off-season shopping trips. She doesn't shop for purses. She goes to Northern California to Golden Gate, and she has had great success claiming horses from that racetrack. including Saxon Saga, who was claimed in March for just $12,500. This is now a 5-time winner. That has yet to finish worse than second here at Assiniboia Downs in 4 starts with 2 wins and 2 seconds. His most recent win was the prep for the Derby, that being the Derby Trial. The 1 mile Derby Trial was the longest distance that this gelding has gone. He will be the local top contender to win the Queen's Cup. Ronaldo Cumberbatch will be the pilot. Here is Saxon Saga. Green Amazon and Rough Customer is now the trailer. 3/4, 112 and 4. They hit the head of the lane. Saxon Saga now takes over the lead by 2. On the inside, Green Amazon, Rough Customer, Chicago's Gray is done for the day. Saxon Saga is gonna take the 29th running of the Derby Trial. Green Amazon wins the ball. And rounding out the Derby field, trainer Craig Smith, who currently is in a battle for leading trainer at Century Mile in Alberta, recently purchased by the Eclipse Thoroughbred Partnership Group for $145,000 US. Shibwe, that is the name of the horse, if you didn't know. Kind of hard for track announcers when they're spelt like that. Shibwe ran twice as a 2-year-old with 1 second-place finish. Now at 3, he has run 5 times with a record of 1 win, 1 second, and 3 third-place finishes. Racing in the hotbed of racing, Gulfstream Park in Florida, Keeneland, Churchill, and Ellis Park. Recently in Kentucky, he did break his maiden by 7 lengths over $100,000 claimers in a maiden race field. He might have a slight advantage over some of the other shippers as he does have 2 good workouts over the local racetrack. Alberta jockey Alexander Marty will be in for the ride. Here is Shibwe.
Shibwe comes off the rail, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and coming after a lot now. And Cafe Racers on the scene too, coming wide for the stretch drive. And farther back, St. Ellen fighting back, forced to go very wide as they come off the turn, and Shibwe takes the lead. It's Shibwe in front by 2. Alona Lots back into 2nd, Cafe Racers in 3rd, Active Duties in 4th, final 16th. It's all Shibwe. Shibwe pouring it on late, clear by 7 lengths to the wire. Good battle for 2nd. That goes to Active Duty.
Wow, just demolished them, ladies and gentlemen. These are your contestants for the historic 75th running of the Manitoba Derby. What a great field we have assembled. Well, it is now time to complete the official draw for post positions. For that honor, we are very pleased to call on our longtime Assiniboia Downs track historian, Bob Gates, and also a longtime dedicated horse owner, John Gannis, for the draw. All right, this is the way it works. Horses enter the race. We have the papers and the P's. What's going to happen is a piece of paper is going to come out with the horse's name on, and then Johnny Gannis is going to pull a P, and whatever that P is, that is the post position for the Manitoba Derby. So we'll get Bob Gates to pull the first horse. Johnny, shake 'em up. First number to come out, number 3, that will be Shibwe. All right, next up. Johnny, do it again. Number 6, Rough Customer. All right, one more time. Number 1 on the rail, Heroic Move. Not always the best post position. But that's why it's the luck of the draw. Next out. Number 4 will be Neighbor. All right again, Bob. Post position number 10, Saxon Saga. All right, John. Number 8, Manodura. One more time. 5 will be B minor. Three more to go. Number 9, Green Amazon. Number 7, Discovery Peak. I wonder who number 2 is. Number 2, Chicago's Gray. Thank you very much, Bob Gates, our track historian, and Johnny Yanis, longtime horse owner. The field is now set in the starting gate for Monday night and the 75th running of the Manitoba Derby. To the media, both myself and Sharon Gullius would be pleased to make any introductions from some of the Horse Connection principals joining us here today, so please reach out if required. And it's now that time to taste the offerings of our executive chef, Mr. Mike Jones, and his team. We will begin by calling tables and ask that you approach the buffet from both the north and the south side. And thank you again for your attendance and supporting us today. And we hope to see you at the races Monday night for the 75th running of the Manitoba Derby. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here are your table numbers to start things off. Remember to go north.